Hello, humans, and welcome to the brand new Retro Rumble, your one-stop shop for wrestling retrospectives. We are on the road to WrestleMania, so naturally I've got to talk about the Royal Rumble. Now, I know what you're thinking, why not cover WrestleMania itself? Stick with me a few weeks and we'll get there. So, the Royal Rumble. My absolute favorite match stipulation of all time, without question. Perhaps just as important as the WrestleMania main event itself, the Royal Rumble was invented by Pat Patterson and first executed on television in 1988. From 88 to 91, it was just a match, with a bunch of guys throwing each other around with no real incentive. In 1992, the World Wrestling Federation title was on the line, and that's only been done one time since. But in 1993 is when the Rumble truly began to mean something. The winner of the 30-man or woman clash would be guaranteed a championship match at WrestleMania. Now, winning the Rumble was a true aspiration of every WWE superstar, and from a backstage booking perspective, it was a gold mine for immediate and long-term storytelling. From an upsetting betrayal to the Iron Man, the Royal Rumble can make stars right at the start of the journey to the show of shows, with the 2023 event being no different. In the weeks leading up to the event, there was serious speculation, as always, about who would walk away as the winner of both the men's and the women's Rumble matches, with more talk about the men's match than usual. Everyone was fairly confident that Rhea Ripley was going to win this year's women's offering, but there were so many candidates for who would be challenging for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship at WrestleMania. First, there was an obvious choice in the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, who had been out with injury since July. Now, this wasn't a potential surprise to the levels of, say, John Cena in 2008, but there still wasn't a firm confirmation that Rhodes would take part in the match. Cody officially declared for the match, and fans were almost certain that he'd be going to WrestleMania. But he was not the only candidate to win the Rumble. There were a few other candidates, all of which directly correlate to the champion himself, Roman Reigns. First, there was Sami Zayn. The honorary Uce had joined the Bloodline faction in what seemed like a joke at first, but was allowed to join the group in September. Since then, Zayn has been tested by Reigns at every turn, to the point that Zayn had to fight his best friend / enemy in Kevin Owens. Owens was challenging Reigns for the title at this Royal Rumble event, so fan speculation was rampant for Zayn's involvement in the night overall. Another potential winner was Jey Uso, the first member of the Bloodline and cousin of Reigns. Jey was also the first person to challenge him for the title back at Clash of Champions in 2020. Like Zayn, fans also questioned Jey's loyalty to the Tribal Chief as the Rumble drew closer, especially as another name was being brought up to be Reigns' opponent for WrestleMania, The Rock. Fans have been clamoring for Dwayne to return to the ring to face off with his cousin at Mania for years, and with this year's show being in Hollywood, the time felt right for The Rock to return, win the Rumble, and secure the main event spot against Reigns. Needless to say, there was a lot of buzz going into this year's Rumble match, as well as the undisputed title match between Reigns and Kevin Owens. Enough backstory, let's get into the review of the 2023 Men's Royal Rumble match. Ring the bell. In a move that surprised me, we actually opened with the Men's Royal Rumble match. This was a shock because it's usually neither Rumble being the opener. I think it's an interesting move to open the show with a match guaranteed to go close to, if not over, an hour. The match begins with entrant number 1, the Intercontinental Champion, Gunther. Who does he square off with in the opening? But it can only be number 2, Sheamus. Here we go. Both members of a lot of people's match of the year from 2022 set the tone for the upcoming match with some hefty chops and punches. When number 3 enters, it's The Miz. Miz tries to hold back a bit, but is eventually brought in. At number 4, Kofi Kingston. Number 5, Johnny Gargano. Miz is eliminated first when Gargano kicks Miz square in the jaw, followed by a brogue kick from Sheamus. At number 6, it's Xavier Woods. The NXT Tag Team Champions are complete. Good little comedy spot when it looks like Woods and Kofi will brawl it out when they fool us all and just dance around. Number 7 is Karrion Kross. Nothing really shocking so far. Number 8 is Chad Gable. He and Xavier Woods have a short amateur wrestling spot, which was nice. Number 9 is Drew McIntyre, arguably the first potential winner to enter since Gunther and Sheamus. He's a House of Fire, eliminates Karrion Kross, then squares off with Gunther to a big pop. Number 10 is Santos Escobar. Thus ends Act 1. Not too bad overall. Only 2 eliminations, but don't worry, we're just getting started. Number 11 is Angelo Dawkins of the Street Profits. Around here is when Kofi Kingston attempts his Rumble Save spot that he's so well known for. This time, I think the goal was to land on the announcer's chair. Unfortunately, for the second year in a row, he can't quite make it. Slips on the chair with it falling, and Kofi goes headfirst into the commentary desk. Drew and Sheamus look to team up on Gunther when number 12 enters, Brock Lesnar. Okay, here we go. Brock scores 3 eliminations in about 15 seconds and then squares up to Gunther, Lesnar's rumored WrestleMania opponent, when the next buzzer sounds, and it's Bobby Lashley, Brock's current rival. Lashley rushes the ring and spears everyone. Lesnar tried to eliminate him, but Lashley reverses and clotheslines Brock right out of the ring, to which Brock loses his mind and takes it out on everyone else, reportedly going off script by shoving a referee into the front row. Number 14 is Baron Corbin in yet another fruitless gimmick, and Brock cleans his clock before he can even get into the ring. Number 15 is another possible winner and my personal superstar of the year for 2022, Seth freaking Rollins. A real crowd favorite, if only for the music. Rollins throws Baron Corbin into the ring and right back out the other side for the quick elimination. Number 16 is Otis of Alpha Academy, and his walk to the ring just made me smile. Number 17 is Rey Mysterio, but gasp, there's no Rey Mysterio. Bobby Lashley is dumped out by Rollins and the brawl resumes. Number 18 is Dominic Mysterio of the Judgment Day, coming out wearing his dad's mask, so we know Rey isn't coming out anytime soon. Elias enters at 19 and shatters his guitar over Gunther's back, but then is dumped out by Sheamus and McIntyre. At 20, it's Finn Balor of Judgment Day. He rushes in to help out Dominic Mysterio. They stare off with Drew and Sheamus, then brawl it out. This ends Act 2. This was significantly better than the first. At number 21, it's Booker T. What? Booker comes out, does his moves, hits a spinaroonie, and then is dumped out by Gunther. Okay. Number 22, it's Damian Priest. The Judgment Day is complete, and they start to go on a tear. That's a big story right now. Number 23 is Montez Ford, who's probably going to have a ridiculously good year in 2023. He takes it to the Judgment Day to no avail. At 24, it's Edge, back for the first time since Extreme Rules in October, where Finn Balor beat him in an I Quit match. Edge comes out to a huge pop because, obviously, he eliminates Priest and Balor in quick succession, then faces off with his old rival Seth Rollins. Dom comes in for the steal, but Edge dumps him over. Priest and Balor pull Edge over, though, eliminating the 2-time Rumble winner. As Austin Theory enters the match, Edge and the Judgment Day fight in the entranceway. Edge is taken out by Rhea Ripley, who is speared by who else but Beth Phoenix. Theory finally gets in the ring and goes to work. When number 26 hits, it's the Colossus, Omos, flanked by MVP. Omos does what he does best, stand there and is big. At 27, it's the monster of all monsters, Braun Strowman, who stares down his old rival, Omos. The shot of that stare down really shows how tall Omos is, because Strowman is not a small man, and Omos is towering over him. Strowman gets the better of him, though, and dumps Omos over. At 28, it's Ricochet. Now, just before his music hit, they took a slight delay after the buzzer, so my buddies and I just knew that was where Cody Rhodes was coming out, but no. Ricochet enters and does some flippy stuff. At 29, it's Logan Paul. You heard me right. The YouTube celebrity who's had 2 matches in WWE, one of which was a main event championship match at Crown Jewel. Logan Paul enters the match and also does flippy things. Perhaps one of the biggest spots of the match involved Logan Paul and Ricochet hitting a springboard double down, which was quite nice to watch. With only one spot left, everyone knew it could only be number 30, Cody Rhodes. The pop was still massive for the return, and it was pretty clear what was about to go down. The crowd knows Cody's winning at this point and is popping for everything he does in the ring. In the end, it comes down to Cody Rhodes and Gunther, who had been in the match for around the 1 hour mark by now. Gunther looks to have the match won when Cody hits him with a surprise cross Rhodes and clotheslines him over the top, securing his place in the main event of WrestleMania. Gunther also ended his run in this match at 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 25 seconds, according to Michael Cole, surpassing Rey Mysterio's record for the longest time in a single Rumble, excluding Daniel Bryan in the Greatest Royal Rumble. This final act was one of the better Rumble endings I've seen in recent memory. This match was fantastic. The first Rumble with Triple H at the creative helm was arguably one of the best of all time. Now, there were some downsides to it. I didn't really understand Dominic Mysterio being in for as long as he did after the Edge stuff, and there were some names that didn't really get to shine, like The Miz and Karrion Kross, but that is less of an issue with the match and more than it is with their booking overall. My grade on my 10-point review scale depends on if the product got over who it needed to, the overall quality of the match itself, and of the spectacle of the event overall. For the 2023 Men's Royal Rumble match, I've got to give it a 9 out of 10. The Royal Rumble being in a stadium environment is a great choice. It got over Cody Rhodes as a winner and created the stars for the year out of the names like Austin Theory, Seth Rollins, Ricochet, and the Judgment Day, in addition to Rhodes himself. I ding this match 1 point because of the things I mentioned earlier. For Miz, you could have done something with Dexter Lumis. Karrion Kross is peculiar because he didn't really have anything, so there was no good spot for him there. Well, folks, that was my review of the 2023 Men's Royal Rumble match. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you will be notified when my next videos post. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.